So, I decided to do a stream, you know, supposed to have a special guest coming on here. If I can't get them today, we definitely gonna try for tomorrow. So, I don't want to say who it is. I kind of want y'all to be surprised, but I got a well-known established rapper coming on here, you know, from LA. He down with the blue team, but I'm trying to get him to come on here. We've been missing each other and stuff. So, hopefully if I can't get him today, definitely tomorrow. But, he has a lot of obligations and stuff. And, he working on music and television shows and all that kind of stuff. So, with that being said, let's begin. So I see people are continuing to put lies out and continuing to spread lies, not having any journalistic integrity. And you wonder why boxing is where it is, because a lot of these dudes continue to push agendas and be fanboys instead of doing, objective journalistic work. We all have our biases. I'm guilty of it and other people are guilty of it, but I do try to be fair when I put this stuff out, put these stories out, because I want to be as accurate as possible. And there's now a new lie and a new narrative being pushed. Like I said, at the end of the day, the Errol Spence fans are almost getting to the point where they're looking just as pathetic as Errol Spence is. And I don't want to go in on Errol Spence like this, but at the end of the day, he's been very unprofessional. He just came across as a sore loser, and so have his fans. They got excuse after excuse on why the fight went wrong. Errol Spence is starting to make excuse, everything from his eyes to his legs. He had broke ribs and all this kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, you signed the contract. And once again, it's not Terence Crawford's job to make sure you know how that you properly train or don't train, or whether you are 100% healthy, whatever the case may be. All Terence Crawford's job is to fight you and try to win. And all you have here is a bunch of people pushing narratives and just flat out lying. So now the new thing is that Errol Spence can stop Terence Crawford from taking a tune-up fight to stay active and, to just stay sharp, which is absolutely a fucking lie. It's a lie. It's cap. And these dudes need to quit lying. First of all, let me prove to you that it's a lie. Once again, I'm out here making phone calls, talking to people that are in boxing, just like I exposed the whole lie about Frank Martin pulling out of the Shakur Stevenson fight, while y'all sitting up listening to these dudes that don't cover fights, don't go to fights, just sit up behind a computer, don't do no interviews, but for some reason they get more credibility than the dudes that's actually out there covering the fights. Y'all believe them more than you believe the dudes that's actually out there in the field. Make that make sense. But I guess I don't lie good enough for you guys. Maybe I should just start lying and making up stuff. Now, let me prove to you that that's a lie. Errol Spence cannot do nothing to Terence Crawford if he decides to take another fight. And if anybody is putting that out there, they are fucking lying. First of all, Errol Spence didn't even make the deadline to exercise his rematch clause. He had till August the 30th. He did not try to exercise the rematch clause till September, which means he missed it by a day or two. So once then, Terence Crawford could have said, I don't have to fight you. Now, they were contractually obligated to fight again by December. Once again, Errol's what month is it? We're in the middle of January. So Terence Crawford is not obligated to fight Errol Spence if he chooses not to. And why would Terence Crawford fight Errol Spence when Errol Spence has done everything in his power and his goofy ass fans to basically devalue? When you sit up here making all these excuses and anybody with common sense is not buying into the excuses, Well, why would they buy a second fight? And the funny thing is, you Errol Spence apologists, y'all are full of it too. Oh, happy birthday, Damon. You Errol Spence apologists, y'all are full of it too. Y'all talked all this stuff about how Errol Spence is a superstar. He's selling this amount of pay-per-views. He's doing that amount of pay-per-views when Deontay Wilder in his 3 fights with Tyson Fury did better than like Errol Spence's last 5 pay-per-views combined. Y'all talked all this stuff about Errol Spence is this, he's that, he's a bigger draw, he's doing these type of numbers, but that fight was only able to do 800,000 pay-per-views, which Showtime turned to profit, but they was looking at 1 million. Y'all Errol Spence apologists didn't even buy the damn fight. Y'all streamed the fight. You fucking hypocrites. Well, this is what I'm trying to tell you, Damien. These dudes, I'm the dude that's out here doing the real work. But once again, these dudes are rather listen to dudes that don't go to fights, that just sit up there and lie. You can tell these the type of niggas that when they catch their girl cheating red-handed, they'll be in denial. What's up, Mark? Shout out to my brother, Mark. I came with facts. Terence Crawford is not obligated to fight Errol Spence in a rematch. And at this point, when is this rematch is supposed to take place? Errol Spence is full of it. He's clout chasing, and he's basically trying to attach himself to Terence Crawford's clout, his newfound fame, because Terence Crawford right now is one of the most popular boxers on the planet. Terence Crawford, just by beating Errol Spence down, is now a household name for the most part. Even casual or people that don't follow boxing that much know who Terence Crawford is, and Devin Haney is headed in that direction too. I'm coming with the truth. So anybody that's saying that Errol Spence could sue and prevent Terence Crawford, that's a damn lie. Al Heyman didn't even want to make the fight in the damn first place. They don't even know how they gonna pay for a rematch. So all this stuff that Errol Spence is talking online is complete cap. It's cap, it's BS. It is the middle of January and yet still no schedule from the PBC. So when is the first inaugural Amazon PBC fight is going to take place? Who's gonna pay for it? Who's financing a rematch with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford? Once again, what part you don't understand? If Errol Spence and Tank and all these dudes was doing these stupendous numbers that a lot of their fanboys is putting out while they sitting up trying to devalue Devin Haney, why they still ain't got the Showtime deal? Why they still don't have the Fox deal? Why is there question marks surrounding the newfound Amazon deal? You guys don't listen. You listen to these morons that sit up there and push lies and stuff. Yeah, it sounds good, but at the end of the day, it's a lie. That's what Beyonce and Shakira meant when they made that song Beautiful Liar. It sounds good. It's beautiful the way you lie. You lie perfectly. You lie so good it's convincing. You lie so good that you convincing yourself that it's the truth. So once again, I'm debunking that. That is a complete lie. Errol Spence cannot stop Terence Crawford from taking another fight. He missed the right to exercise the rematch, and then he missed the rematch date. So therefore, Terence Crawford can go take another fight. Errol Spence is shit out of luck if Terence Crawford decides to take another fight, which Terence Crawford should take another fight. What part you dumbasses don't understand? Y'all act like Errol Spence run Terence Crawford like Terence Crawford's world revolve around Errol Spence. Are you guys that damn stupid? I guess you are. I guess you are. And I'm so, I mean, it's sad just to hear some of these dudes putting out this BS. And I don't want to say these dudes' names because I don't want to give them no free publicity. I don't believe in giving these dudes, but you know who I'm talking about, the least attorney and all these dudes that made every excuse in the book, said Terence Crawford was ducking, he need to do this, he need to do that. Everything was all good until that fight got signed. Everything was all good until Terence Crawford was making his way to the ring. Everything was all good when the first bell rung, and then in the second round, Errol Spence got put on his ass. And then commits to getting his ass beat from pillar to post all the way to the end of the fight. Lost every goddamn round, including the first. Errol Spence didn't win one damn round of that fight. It was a one-sided, mystical, crooked like a roach leg ass whooping via Terence Crawford. And then these delusional Errol Spence fans are still continuing to lie, stretch the truth, and make up shit. Because they just cannot accept the fact that Terence Crawford was the better man. But then they want to act like they got respectable YouTube channels, putting out respectable content. These dudes then went from every excuse to accusing Terence Crawford of spiking Errol Spence water, steroid use, PED, and y'all continue to listen to these goofy niggas. And then here's the thing that I need for somebody to explain. As far as the Victor Conte thing go, I'm trying to get Victor Conte on here. I'm trying to set up an interview with Victor Conte. He said he'll get back to me. So once again, Terence Crawford and Devin Haney is the only one that got PEDs from Victor Conte. And you just heard Carissa Shields saying that she got all the girls signed up for VADA. Doesn't matter whether Terence Crawford was doing 24-hour testing. He was getting tested. But then you got these goofy dudes with these fake large professor glasses just making up stuff. Every other video is about Terence Crawford. The obsession with Terence Crawford is really weird. So, you know, I'm sitting up here giving real perspective journalism and giving you guys real stories. Errol Spence Errol Spence's last fight was April of 2022. Yes or no? April of 20, before the Terence Crawford ass whooping, was like April of 2022 versus Ugas. What stopped Errol Spence in between then from getting his eyes fixed? Why did you wait till you didn't fight for a year? You had plenty of time to get your eye. That doesn't make sense. And in between that time, Errol Spence, I didn't see him making no movies. He had plenty of time to get his eye. These dudes are making you guys remedial. And I hate to say this. I don't like to use that word remedial, but these dudes are dumbing you down. They're making you look like idiots. You can't win no debate against me versus a dude that actually knows what's going on. Didn't I tell you guys a month ahead of time that Devin Haney was going to fight Regis Prograis? Didn't Bill Haney officially announce the Regis Prograis fight on my channel before anybody else's? Kept his word. Shout out to Bill. That don't make any kind of sense. You had over a year to get your damn, so you wait till after you get a drumming? Oh, all Errol Spence has done is lie. And I'm sorry, and I hate to say that, he's been dishonest with the fan, and that's what he does. And that's what Al Heyman does. Because he's affiliated with Al Heyman. Al Heyman, another disingenuous dude that lies. He didn't even make the deadline to exercise his right to a second fight. He didn't exercise his right till like September the 1st. Missed the deadline by at least a day or a day and a half. Then they had till December to get the fight did. Signed, sealed, delivered. But guess what? Showtime didn't want the fight. Showtime did not want that fight. because it didn't do what they expected it to do. But that's the Errol Spence apologist for you. They talk all this shit and they can't back it up. You would have thought this fight was going to do 1.5 million. It only did 800,000, which 800,000 is still good numbers. It turned the profit, but not the profit margin that Showtime was looking for. They wanted Tank Ryan Garcia numbers. So then, based off that fact, you pushed the narrative. You helped solidify what Al Heyman and Floyd be trying to do, which is say that black fighters don't sell, which is an absolute lie. You sat up there and said Errol Spence is just such a big star, but then y'all didn't even buy the fight. Y'all didn't even take y'all asses to Dave and Buster's and watch the fight for $10. You streamed the shit. So once again, that's a lie. So if anybody said that Errol Spence can stop Terence Crawford from taking a fight, that's a lie. You had a whole year to fix your eye, and now you want to fix it. Then not to mention this so-called surgery you had is gonna take you 2 months to heal up. So that means you really can't participate in no boxing activity till around March. And then no telling how much you're gonna weigh. You probably weigh about probably 200 pounds, if not 200 pounds or close to 200 pounds. So then you're going to have to try to get in shape. So now you talking about trying to get in shape to lose, like, if you fight at least 154, you talking about having to lose pretty much 40 pounds. Or over 40 pounds if you fight at a catch weight. So basically you talking about another possibly 2 or 3 months. So this is what I'm saying. Even if they was to fight, you looking at probably, at worst case scenario, maybe end of July, August, September. And then once again, who's going to pay for the fight? What network is going to show this fight? They don't want it, Percy. They don't want the fight. They didn't want the fight. They did not want the fight. Because they thought the fight didn't underachieved. So like I said before, Errol Spence, even if he was to take a rematch, once again, who's going to pay for the fight? Who's going to finance the fight? Who's paying for this fight? You know? Errol Spence missed his date to exercise his rematch, and then he missed the actual date for the rematch, which was supposed to be December the 9th. Terence Crawford is not obligated. So all this stuff about people putting out these lies about that Errol Spence can sue Terence Crawford to that's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. I don't care if these dudes get mad at me. I don't work for none of these niggas. I'm not finna keep getting attached to this stuff when these dudes are putting out blatant lies about what's going on. Putting out blatant lies. It's just a new, and like I said, Errol Spence trying to talk stuff to Terence Crawford. Errol Spence ain't in no position to call no shot. These dudes really act like Bud is on Errol Spence's time. Like whatever Errol Spence says that Terence Crawford got up, that just goes to show you how silly these dudes is. And what groupies these dudes are. Male groupies. These dudes been protected Errol Spence from what mostly everybody knew, the inevitable. That everybody in the boxing realm that was at least that was linked to boxing. Whether it was trainers, whether it was promoters, whether it was other fighters. Furthermore, unless they was PBC fighters. Most fighters knew that Terence Crawford was going to whoop Errol Spence's ass. I knew Terence Crawford was going to beat the brakes off of Errol Spence when I saw him fight against Jeff Horn. I already knew Terence Crawford's background. I keep in contact with them dudes. I already knew, and I was trying to hint to you dudes who was going to win the fight, but I didn't want to flat out say it. I was confident that Terence Crawford was going to go. And if you think I'm lying, you can talk to the Cali Enigma. Me and the Cali Enigma, back in 2019, we already knew the outcome of that fight. Me and my boy Big Rich. Before the fight happened, we was eating at Nations in Richmond, outside of Richmond, by the San Paulo Casino. We all knew that Terence Crawford was gonna stop Errol Spence. Well, Percy, I'm trying to explain to these people, but they don't want to listen because they'd rather listen to these other dudes that's sitting up line. I'm not worried about these dudes. Ain't none of these dudes gonna do nothing when they see me. They can sneak diss me all they want. I don't care about that stuff. Because it's at the end of the day, it's free publicity. But I'm finna, like I said, I'm putting these niggas on blast because I'm tired of the lying. I'm tired of listening to people lie. Terence Crawford, once again, is not obligated to fight Errol Spence. Errol Spence missed every deadline you could think of. He did not make the December 9th deadline. He did not exercise his rematch clause until 2 days later. It was reported that Errol Spence didn't sign the rematch clause or exercise it or activate it till September the 1st, which means he missed it by a day. He had till August the 31st, if I'm not mistaken. You didn't hear about him like exercising it till September. He missed it by like a day. Like, what part you guys don't understand? Is it that hard to explain it to you? How you gonna sit up there and say let's run it back and you don't even have the financials? All I've saw for the last 5 years is people come up with every excuse. From Terence Crawford's competition to Terence Crawford doesn't deserve this amount of money, but you guys claim to be so pro-black, but you don't even want Terence Crawford to make the same. And I kept telling you this. Errol Spence wasn't doing the pay-per-view numbers that they was putting out there. I went to Errol Spence's last fight at Cowboy Stadium, but everybody talking about Devin Haney's ticket sales. Talking about, oh, well, it should be sold out. You selling tickets for $55. Well, Errol Spence was selling tickets for motherfucking $35 at Cowboy Stadium. And he couldn't even get 45,000 people up in there. So now what? If any Errol Spence don't want that fight, that's all Errol Spence good for doing is talking crazy over the internet. Well, why it took you so long? If anybody is emotional, it's Errol Spence. Errol Spence is the one that got all these excuses, him and his fans. And y'all sit up here listening to this nonsense. Errol Spence sound like a and I just gotta say it. I don't give a fuck if Errol Spence don't do no interview with me. Errol Spence sound like a damn fool, and he's coming across as a liar. He just coming across as a liar. Because the real plan, the contingency plan was for Errol Spence really was to fight Keith Thurman. And Al Heyman kept telling him, fight Keith Thurman, beat Keith Thurman. And then what I'll do is I'll bring Canelo. I'll set up the Canelo fight. You fight him at Cowboy Stadium. You get lit up like a Christmas tree, but you walk away with like 30, 40 million, and then you can retire. But people was questioning Errol Spence because just like before, people got tired of listening to them excuses. Now, anybody that wants to buy Errol Spence's long list of excuses on why the first fight didn't happen, Errol Spence got caught being disingenuous, dishonest. His fans got caught being dishonest. And Bud and them did everything in their power not to out Errol Spence and not make him look bad. I mean, let's be honest. Do you really think that a rematch is gonna be any different? Errol Spence got took apart. When you take a beating like that, you ain't never gonna be the same. Errol Spence took a savage beating, and Harvey Dock saved Errol Spence from getting put to sleep, being a meme. Even though Errol Spence has been a meme, but he took. Listen, why you think Kenny Porter? And Kenny Porter is my guy. I talked to Kenny Porter. He told me he stopped. Sorry, Kenny, you know you my guy. I love you, man. Kenny Porter told me out of his own mouth that he saw something he didn't like. And that's why he stopped the fight, because he thought Sean was probably finna get laid out. Errol Spence was about to get stretched. Errol Spence was 2 punches away from being put to sleep. And then what? But I'm going to be honest with you, it's a good thing Harvey Doc stepped in and saved Errol Spence, because when Errol Spence would have became a meme getting put to sleep, y'all Errol Spence fans, you would have heard about mass Errol Spence suicides, especially in the Dallas area. You would have heard a large amount of Kool-Aid and rat poisoning getting bought, and then you would have seen, some Jim Jones stuff. They would have been on suicide watch. And Texas is an open carry state, so you would have heard about, some you know what I'm saying? You would have heard about some Columbine stuff. You would have heard about the Wanko stuff. So it's a good thing that Harvey Doc, stepped in and said he saved lives. Do y'all want to see Errol Spence get, for real, if they have a rematch, this fight ain't lasting, it may not even last 5 rounds. It may end at 4, because I'm going to tell you, Bud going to go in there with bad intentions. And when I say he going to go in there with bad intentions, but he going to be focused. He going to go in there with bad intentions. I don't even want to see Errol Spence get hurt like that. But y'all listening to these dudes that's really believing that the weight is gonna make a difference and that Errol Spence gonna be 100%. If Errol Spence ain't 100% now, what makes you think he gonna be 100% going into that fight? He already admit that he got some messed up eyes. Yeah, but it ain't no money. Once again, just like Danny Garcia, it's no money in fighting Boots. The same way people was saying that Errol Spence was looking for big paydays. The thing is with Boots is a hell of a fighter, but it's no money in that fight. And then what does Terence Crawford get out of it? And then Boots, let's just be honest with each other. I love Boots, but Boots don't have the names. He don't have the names. He got 31 fights in, but he really don't have the names. So if that's the case, y'all were the same people saying Terence Crawford didn't have the names. So let me get this straight. Boots has the names to get a fight with Terence Crawford. And that's all I'm saying. You talking about, once again, who gonna pay for that fight? What type of number? That's a pay-per-view fight, but what type of numbers is Boots going to do? It isn't about ducking. It's not about ducking. Terence Crawford is at a point in his career. Terence Crawford is going to be 37. And I need y'all to understand that. Everybody knows I go to Philly all the time. I'm loved in Philly. You know what I'm saying? I got a lifetime Philly pass. So they know when I talk, I'm just telling it from a truthful perspective. Boots don't have a resume. He don't have a name at this point. What can Boots do for Terence Crawford? Yeah, it'll be a good fight, but at the end of the day, what if Boots loses? Boots have to understand, yeah, that's a risky fight for him too, because what if he gets knocked out? Then it's sort of like his status drops down. He's not there yet. He's not there yet, and that's all I'm saying. Who gonna pay for the fight? Can that fight sell? Where you gonna have the fight at? Boots versus Terence Crawford, even if you put that fight on, and then Boots once again. When Terence Crawford didn't have nothing going on, he had 2 chances to fight Terence Crawford, and his team turned down the fight. Boots don't have the names, and I'm not talking, and Bozy, you know my heart in the right place. They don't have the names right now. It's not gonna sell. It's not gonna sell on pay-per-view. You gonna do worse than Boots versus Terence Crawford at best. is gonna do maybe, if they lucky, they'll do 175,000, and then people will be saying, "See, this is what I'm talking about." Is people gonna line up to buy that fight? Because Boots is relatively unknown, and that's all I'm saying. It has to make financial sense. That's why Terence Crawford is talking about Canelo and those type of dudes. And to be honest with you, even if Bud fought Charlo, you don't even know if Bud versus Charlo can sell. And then based off how bad Charlo looked in his last fight, okay, who gonna pay for that? Bud would be an overwhelming favorite to whoop Charlo's ass. Once again, you talking about Charlo versus Canelo did not sell out. I know that to be fact. I'll talk to people. It wasn't sold out. It wasn't remotely sold out. And then it was a question about what the pay-per-view numbers was. Didn't do that good on pay-per-view. And that's what people have to understand. You know, that Boots, and that's factual too. Boots before his last fight didn't look that good. He looked clueless at times. Now imagine fighting somebody like Terence Crawford that could throw punches from different angles and that could crack. And that could fight southpaw just like you. I do believe Boots would have his moments in the fight, but I think eventually Terence Crawford would catch Boots with something he wouldn't see, and he would hurt Boots, and he would probably either win decisively going towards the latter half of the fight, or he would stop Boots. So that's the problem. And then the Terence Crawford detractors, the haters, or whatever you want to call it, they would say, "Oh, Boots wasn't ready for that fight. Why did Terence Crawford?" See, it's a good fight until it gets made. It's a good fight until the bell rings. Then all of a sudden, the narratives is going to change when Terence Crawford's hand get raised. And that's all I'm saying about Boots. That's all I'm saying about Boots. He's not there yet. Now, the difference with the Devin Haney Tank stuff, Devin Haney is there. Devin Haney versus Tank could be made. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia could be made. But we all know that hating ass nigga Floyd interfered to talk Ryan Garcia out of that fight because Floyd don't want no black fighter to surpass him. He don't want to see another black fighter shine. And he's proven that time and time again. And Floyd has dissed the black community on several different occasions and thumbed his nose at us. But once again, we keep supporting Floyd and stuff. So Ryan, that's the difference. Boots is not there yet. You still can make an argument about Ryan Garcia not being there yet, but at the end of the day, what they did was they used his Twitter following to sell that fight. I'm gonna tell you something. Behind the scenes, this is real talk. I'm not gonna say who it is, not gonna name no name. People don't believe in Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, I'm gonna tell you right now, Ryan Garcia is gonna be brutally knocked out again. Still haven't fixed some of the things that he needs to fix. I'm sorry, V9. That's not factual. Bud versus Boots is not a money fight. It's not a big money fight. It's not about ducking. Boots is not there yet. Bud is not ducking the dude. But Bud is looking at big paydays now. He at the point where he want big payday. Boots is not there yet. Boots doesn't have the names. And that's all I'm saying. That fight is not going to do big numbers because Boots is still relatively unknown around the boxing circuit. I can prove it. If you want to play the numbers game, you know how I can prove that Devin Haney and Terence Crawford are big as far as boxing go? Every video I put out about Devin Haney does good numbers. Anything Bud wise, this video is gonna do good numbers. If I put out a random video or a live stream about boots, it's not going to do numbers. It'll do decent numbers, but it's not going to do the numbers because everybody, you know what I'm saying? I look at my stats. That's how I determine what type of material that I'm going to put out. Boots is not going to translate to a whole bunch of views. Not right now. Because his name isn't out there yet. And then Boots doesn't have a network or a promoter. So Boots is not a PBC fighter. He was fighting on PBC cards. He was a Showtime fighter. And that's all I'm saying. No, that's not an excuse, dude. You getting too emotional, bro. Hey, dude, take it down a level. I'm trying to explain this with you. You're getting too emotional. That's not an excuse. I'm trying to explain facts to you. You need to listen, dude. Now you being emotional. Boots is not there yet. And I'm respectfully trying to explain that to you. He doesn't have the names on his resume. That's not going to be that fight is not going to do big numbers. Because at the end of the day, most fighters that's a fight that Terence Crawford would heavily have to rely on pay-per-view numbers to, make a decent amount of money. That's not going to be no fight where Terence Crawford is going to get $10 million up front and then make the rest of his money off the pay-per-views, because at the end of the day, it's not going to lead to a big payday for Terence Crawford. That's all I'm saying. I'm not making no excuses, but I'm trying to explain this to you. Boots is not there yet. Just like when Frank Martin did the most dumbest thing that you could possibly do, which is let Al Heyman and them talk him out of a monster payday. Frank Martin was fighting in ballrooms, but in conference rooms. Was offered $1.3 million. Biggest payday ever. But he was talked out of that fight. So now it's been since November. Now it's January. When does Frank Martin go fight again? And that's what they do. And then if you go against Al Heyman, you get shelled. Steve Fulton was about to get talked out of a $3 million. I heard Steve Fulton made like $4 million or close to $4 million for that fight with Inanu. And they tried to talk him out of that fight. Al Heyman tried to talk him out of that fight. And then Al Heyman was being disingenuous. Now you see all these fighters is tweeting for the most part, even though they can't go in on Al Heyman because of the NDA, saying, hey, I don't know when I'm fighting. I don't know when I'm fighting. But then y'all believe so much in Al Heyman, and Al Heyman be playing his fighters, and he be interfering with his fighters getting monster paydays. Appreciate that. Oh, shout out to my guy Trick Nolte, man. That's me and Trick. I'm gonna say something about Trick. I talk to Trick at least once or twice a week. He know what's going on. He don't even got no YouTube channel. I'm trying to spit facts to you guys. I know what's going on behind the scene. That's all I'm saying. Boots is not there yet. I mean, anybody could go on the Breakfast Club. I mean, come on, man. I mean, anybody could go on the Breakfast Club. I mean, Charlotte was on the Breakfast Club. I mean, for real. Can Boots come? Here's the thing. I can prove it. I can prove it to you. Unless Boots don't have no elaborate outfit, if Boots wear regular clothes, I guarantee you he could walk through a mall. I guarantee you in Atlanta, I guarantee you Boots could walk through Lenox Mall and probably won't nobody, unless they're a diehard boxing fan, know who he is. Terence Crawford right now, if he walked through Lenox Mall, people would know who he is. See, and that's the difference. It's really that simple. I'm going to put it in Cat Williams terms. The mall test. The mall test. If Bud walked through Lenox Mall, I guarantee you people gonna say, hey, there go Terence Crawford. If you took Boots right now to Lenox Mall, or if I took Boots to the Great Mall in Milpitas and just said walk around for an hour and let's see how many people recognize you. Just got on regular outfit, nothing special. Let's see how many people recognize him and know who he is. I guarantee you, if I take Terence Crawford to any mall and he walked through the mall, people gonna know who he is. And that's the difference. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Boots ain't there yet. Yeah, him being on the Breakfast Club is a good look, being on $1 million worth of game, but you got to understand $1 million worth of game and the Breakfast Club got a certain audience. Now the Breakfast Club helps, $1 million worth of game helps, but at the end of the day, Boots' name isn't out there like that. That's all I'm saying. I've been to Atlanta. Like I said, if I took, and shout out to my guy Trick, if I took Bud to, what's that mall, the Uptown Mall over there in Houston, that mall, that upscale mall, and Bud went there by himself, I guarantee you they'll know who Bud is. If I took Boots there, they wouldn't know who Boots is. And that's all I'm saying. Trick, just text it to me. So that's all that I'm saying. Boots isn't there yet. It's not a duck. It's not a duck. It has to make financial sense. And right now, yeah, that's what I'm saying, the Galleria. If me and Trick took Bud there right now, just let Bud walk around, no security, I guarantee you people will know who he was and actually take pictures. If I took Boots to the Galleria, if I took Boots to Lenox Mall, if I took Boots to Southland Mall, or took him to the Great Mall in the area that I am, let's see how many people ask Boots for a picture or an autograph. If I took Terence Crawford to pretty much any mall in America where it's a bunch of black people at, they gonna know who Bud is. They gonna say, what's up, Bud? And that's without security, because Bud has a recognizable face because his name is everywhere. Where Boots, he ain't there yet, and that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Boots is not there yet. Well, first of all, see, you're not V9, you're not listening. Bud has only had the belts for 6 months. He shouldn't have even got stripped of the belts. He's not holding the belts hostage. See, you're not. So that's all I'm trying to say. Bud is not holding the belts hostage. It's only been 6 months since Bud fought, and this is why Bud is trying to get back in the ring. And he cannot wait for Errol Spence. He doesn't owe Errol Spence anything. I'm trying to tell you, contractually, he's not obligated to fight Errol Spence. Errol Spence, at the end of the day, is doing what he's trying to do. He's trying to save face. He's trying to do what he was doing the last time. Trying to save face, make it look like he's desperately seeking this fight. And then he could be desperate because he don't know what's going on with the Amazon deal. So that's all I'm trying to say. I love Boots. I think he's a sensational fighter, but he's not there yet. He's not there yet. And that's all. He's not there yet. He got to put more work in. Well, that's the thing. They don't care about who Errol Spence fight, Because anybody that Errol Spence fights is going to be enhanced to being the greatest opponent ever. Because at one time, Boots was calling out Errol Spence. Errol Spence did the same thing. He didn't even respond to Boots. There was never no call. See, at the end of the day, this is what's going on with Errol Spence. Errol Spence, like I said, is trying to save face. And he's making himself. Here's the thing, by you constantly, at the end of the day, it's looking like he's seeking to fight, but in reality, he isn't. Because you doing everything to devalue the fight. When you sit up there and make these excuses and talk, when people will question you, the Deontay Wilder-Tyson Fury thing was totally different. Because there was reason to suspect Tyson Fury was up to no good. Tyson Fury, keep in mind, had been caught trying to cheat. He's been popped for performance-enhancing drug. He's been popped for substance abuse. So that's a different story. But with Errol Spence, this dude got a rib injury. His eyes messed up. You know what I'm saying? He can't get a realtor to build his house on time. The new car he wants to buy, he don't like the color of it. He needs to cut. It's just excuse after excuse after excuse. And it gets to the point where it's just lame. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that. You didn't heard Errol Spence say, well, I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't doing this. I wasn't doing. Once again, dude, if you are not taking care of yourself out the ring, that's your problem. But it's not inclined to call Errol and say, hey, Errol, hey, Errol, how are you training for this fight? Hey, Errol, you training right? That's not Bud's job. So now all of a sudden, and this is why I keep telling you, stop listening to these dummies, because they're making you stupid. They are making you stupid. They are making you're going to look ridiculous trying to debate this with somebody. Oh, I wasn't in shape. My eye was messed up. It's just, listen, I had a brownie and it had way too many, I had a chocolate brownie, it had way too many nuts in it. It's just excuse after excuse after excuse with Errol Spence. And he looks pathetic. And then here's the thing, these Errol Spence fans ain't gonna buy the fight anyway. They gonna stream it. They gonna talk all this shit. They talking, oh, make the fight him again. Oh, it's the weight, it's this, it's that. It's a new excuse. Okay, so cool. If Bud fights Errol Spence, then Errol Spence gonna come in at 147. I'm telling you, a rematch is not gonna be any different. It's going to be worse. It's gonna be worse. So you don't think Bud may have a strength difference at 154? He was already stronger than Errol Spence at one. Listen, Bud was pushing Errol Spence off of him. What part you don't understand? Bud has a wrestling background. Bud was like a superstar athlete. Bud can play football. He can play basketball. He can wrestle. He can box. All around. And his kids are like that. Well, listen. Nobody told Errol Spence to do whatever he was doing. I'm like I said, I'm trying not to get personal with Errol Spence. If Errol Spence once again wasn't taking care of himself, that's on him. That's not Bud's problem. That's not Bud's problem. Listen, if any of you guys own a business, you hire employees. You can try to make sure they get to work on time and not call in sick. But guess what? After a while, if you keep coming to work late, you keep calling in sick, eventually you're going to develop this reputation as you don't have a good work ethic. You really don't want no job. You don't care about your job. So then guess what? You're not going to have no job. Of course, if you come in late once every 3 months, once every 6 months or something like that. But if you late every other day, basically you showing that you don't have no respect, no discipline. And the boss gonna say, eventually, it's not my job to make sure you get to work on time. Okay? He gonna say, maybe you need to leave a little bit early. So once again, I'm trying to explain to you, it's not Terence Crawford's job to make sure Errol Spence is taking care of himself outside of boxing. That's on Errol Spence. It's entire whatever the new excuse is, it's entirely Errol Spence's fault that he lost the fight. It's not on Bud. It's not Bud's job to make sure Errol Spence is eating right, taking care of himself, training right, not living a fighter's life. If Bud can do it, Errol Spence can do it. Nobody was telling Errol Spence to go to the club, getting into altercations and all this stuff with that involved, that little dude that ain't here no more. I know what's up. I know what's up with that. That's not like, once again, for you Mac Dre fans, Mac Dre made a song called Not My Job. And that's basically what he was saying. It's not his job to do this or do that. I highly recommend you listen to that song. Shout out to the great Mac Dre, Vallejo, California, the Crest Side. Born in Oakland, raised in Vallejo. Shout out to the late, great Mac Dre. Go listen to that song called It's Not My Job. Bud should come into that song. So I know more about them. Listen, I don't want to get deep into that, the Mode 3 thing, but that's some street shit. But I know about it. I know what's going on. I'm a street dude. I talk to dudes from the streets. I mean, for real. That Mark Curry interview. Damn. That Mark Curry interview. I knew every spot Mark Curry was talking about. Because me and Mark Curry is from the town. So that's all I'm saying. V9, you got to understand, Boots didn't exercise. When Boots was the mandatory, he elected not to. He was saying, hey, I want to stay loyal to Showtime and all this stuff. And Showtime was pulling the wool with these dudes from the gate. Well, yeah, the best should fight the best. But at the end of the day, it has to be financially lucrative as well. You get to a point where you want max amount of money. Bud is not 25 anymore. Bud is 30. Bud is 36. He at a point now where he's looking for big paydays, and that's what you have to understand. It's not a knock on Boots. We keep trying to explain. Everybody is trying to explain this to you, but you're not listening. I understand the best should be fighting the best. My thing is, everybody always trying to matchmake for Bud, but then here's the thing. Nobody matchmakes for Tank. And you make an argument, Tank is definitely not fighting the best guys available. Who wants to see a rematch with Isaac Cruz? To be honest with you, who really want to see a rematch with Ryan Garcia? The best fight out there for Tank to prove himself is Devin Haney. But he hollering about Devin Haney's pay-per-view numbers and what his ticket sales and all this kind of stuff, and people just put, so yeah. But here's the thing you need to understand. Here's the difference between Devin versus Boots. Devin just sold out an arena. Devin sold out the Chase Center, the first inaugural boxing event at the Chase Center. He got 16,000 people. They only had, to be honest with you, they only made originally 9,000 seats available. But the tickets sold so fast, they started opening up sections. See, that's the difference. Ryan Garcia's last fight didn't sell. Here's the thing. Can Boots sell out Madison? This is what I'm asking. Can Boots sell out Madison Square Garden? Hell, can Boots sell out the Wells Fargo Center? Can Boots right now, if he fought, could he sell out the Wells Fargo Center? Here's the thing. Devin Haney fights at the Oracle Arena in Oakland. He can sell it out. Devin sold 14,000 tickets versus Lomachenko, so Devin is a draw. Devin is an arena fighter. See, Devin can headline an arena. And see, that's the difference. And that's what I mean by it's levels to this. Devin could go to the State Farm Arena right now and sell 14, 15,000 tickets. Can Boots can Boots right now, and be honest, can Boots right now sell out the State Farm Center? Just off his name alone, he couldn't. Terence Crawford could go to the State Farm Arena and fight basically, Danny Garcia. It'll sell out. But would it be a lucrative fight? Not exactly, because Bud would be an overwhelming favorite. That's what I'm trying to say about Boots. He's not there yet. Right now. We not talking about Shakur Stevenson. We talking about Boots. You changing the subject. I'm asking you right now, can Boots right now sell out the Wells Fargo Center? Could he even get 12,000 people in his hometown of Philadelphia to come see him? That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It's levels to this. Boots can't sell out the State Farm. Boots can't sell out Madison Square Garden because he's not there yet. Can Boots sell out the Staples Center? Can Boots even sell out a smaller venue? When he fought at the Home Depot Center, he was the undercard, and that place wasn't even remotely packed. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, T-Gas, I'm just trying to educate. I'm trying to educate him. I'm not attacking Boots. I'm just asking a question. Can Boots sell out arenas? Not small venues. Right now, Boots is in between smaller venues. Can Boots right now sell out the Staples Center? Excuse me, the Crypto Arena. Can Boots get, right now as we speak, can Boots even sell 12,000 tickets? We know Devin Haney can. Can Boots go to the State Farm in Atlanta and sell 12,000 tickets? A minimum. That's all I'm saying. He's not there yet. That's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking the brother. That's what I'm saying. It's levels to this. Terence Crawford, I can tell you this much. Terence Crawford, I bet you Terence Crawford could sit. I bet you Terence Crawford right now, if he took the Danny Garcia fight at Madison Square Garden, I bet you that fight will have. I guarantee you he'll sell. I guarantee you he'll sell at least 14,000, 15,000 tickets. It's where he's at now. It's where he's at now, and what he did to get there. Boots is not. That's all I'm saying, man. Boots is not there yet. Yeah. And guess what? He sold out, and he sold out the venue. He sold out the venue. I don't know what the pay-per-view numbers was, but at the end of the day, they turned somewhat of a bit of a profit because they sold out the venue, the gate, and then Ebenezer didn't take that much money. So it's not being a hypocrite. I'm asking you a question. You haven't answered my question yet. When are you gonna answer my question and stop talking around the situation? I've been hella patient with you. Answer my question right now. Can Boots sell out? Can Boots get 10,000 people at the Wells Fargo Center right now as we speak? Could he sell that B out? Could he sell it? Could he sell out the Wells Fargo Center? They probably wouldn't even put Boots in the Wells Fargo Center. They would probably put him in the Spectrum, which is you know what I'm saying? It's not an upscale venue. And then I heard that they finna build the 76ers a new arena in the downtown area. But what I'm saying now, can he sell 12,000 tickets? Can he go to Las Vegas and sell 16,000 tickets at the MGM Grand? Can he sell 18,000 at the T-Mobile Arena? And that's all I'm saying. He's not there yet, bro. Bud was selling 10,000 tickets everywhere he fought. Bud is an arena fighter. He was an arena fighter years ago. I'm saying Boots is not an arena fighter yet. Boots was offered that fight, the fight in Omaha. He said no. So so like, once again, he had his chance. So now he had a chance to jump the line. Boots had a chance to actually jump the line. Turned it down. Well, listen, T-Gas, V9 must be from Philly. That's cool. But he not answering my question about can Boots right now, can he even sell 12,000 tickets in it? Oh. Well, why didn't he take the fight? You still not answering my question. Can Boots sell out arenas as the headliner? You keep talking around and answer my question. If this was a court trial, you would have already been convicted. You not answering, you talking around. That's all I'm saying. Bud is not ducking Boots. It has to make financial sense. Go check out my interview. I'm not making excuses. You making excuses. You won't even answer my fucking question. Like, all right, you guys. All right, you guys. I'll be back with more. Damn, I've been doing this stream for an hour. Appreciate it, everybody. But I'll be back with more later on.